Raw, I thought on the whole, was a very enjoyable show, as it has been for the past couple weeks. I thought it was a very good show. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this new era brings for the flagship show. Now, I say flagship show, but it was also reported by @WrestleVotes, and again, take this with a grain of salt, that SmackDown will be the new AShow of WWE starting next week when it arrives on Fox. And that this week would be the last time that WWE views Raw as the flagship show. Now, there's a lot of stuff they've been reporting that I want to believe, that I'm very excited for. I'd be very surprised if they reported, hey, Pyro's coming back, and then it doesn't. That seems very specific, to be something, for that to be something to promise people and then not deliver, I think that's very strange. But Bray Wyatt, there were also reports from that same exact Twitter account that that SmackDown, that Fox execs, they want Bray Wyatt, they want the Fiend on the Blue brand. They want him on SmackDown, which, I'm not surprised. But they also reported that, hey, Raw is very likely going to keep him. Paul Heyman is very high on Wyatt, as he should be. The guy's a star. He probably has a lot to do with his ascent in the last couple of months. I think he's a way better fit on Raw. He should become Universal Champion next Sunday. And if he does, he will obviously remain on the Raw brand. But again, from that same Twitter account, there were rumors. They were tweeting out, reporting that SmackDown will be the new A-Show starting next week. And as I've said to other people, I'll believe it when I see it. Just because I've heard this same story so many times before. But, SmackDown's moving here. SmackDown's moving to a new night. SmackDown's moving to a new time. New network, blah, 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 blah. That it's going to be taken more seriously. They're going to treat it as the A-Show. They're going to have all the star power. Here we go. We're going to load up SmackDown. And nothing ever fucking changes. Nothing. The only time they came close to being the new flagship show of WWE was in 2016. Ironically, when they got the shorter end of the stick in the WWE draft. When they brought back the brand extension, okay? The show obviously had the weaker roster. Everyone was saying that coming out of the draft. But I think there was a lot of people, myself included, who said, hey, listen, I'm Team SmackDown here. I'm Team SmackDown, I think. While they don't have the stronger roster right now, the building blocks are there. They have Dean Ambrose. They have John Cena when he's around. They have Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, AJ fucking Styles. The building blocks are there for them to have a great, great show. And just wait and see. And we did, and the show became amazing. It fell off a little bit after WrestleMania 33 when Jinder was champion. That was a very dark period for SmackDown. It's a lot better now. But I don't think they have yet to really reach those same heights they were at back in late 2016, early 2017. I was so stoked for every episode of SmackDown because the show was so great. I don't know who was writing the show at the time or what the hell was going on. Whatever was in the water on Tuesdays at that point in time, it was working because the show was awesome. Then again, though, WWE never tried to treat SmackDown at that point in time as the A-Show. It was always Raw. It was always going to be Raw. It always will be Raw. So none of the shit where, Raw is going to take a backseat to SmackDown. Yeah, maybe for a week or two. No matter what, though, as long as Vince McMahon is around, Raw will forever be his baby. He'll get excited about SmackDown. Oh, new toy. Oh, we're going to Fox on Fridays. Oh. And then he'll forget all about it by fucking November. So none of the shit where people are saying, I think it's going to become the new A-Show. Here we go. We're going to load it up with Brock Lesnar. Yeah, when he's around once every 3 months. And I think it's great Brock is going to SmackDown. Don't get me wrong. But they'll load up the show with all this star power. Remember 2008 when they knew they were going to My Network TV 9? I think it was My Network TV 9. They made a big deal about the move. They had this huge, tri-branded show and their first show on that new network. They moved Triple H over to SmackDown. They had The Undertaker. They had The Big Show, Jeff Hardy, Edge. They had a lot of star power on SmackDown. Back from, they always have, but from 08 to 09 specifically, they really tried to load up that roster with as many names as possible because they wanted SmackDown to be taken seriously on its new network. And then they forgot all about it again, by 2009. And again, because they forgot about it by 2009, it started to become the better brand with stuff like CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy or Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio. Those two feuds were happening simultaneously in 2009. Edge and Jeff Hardy were feuding as well. Edge was doing some cool stuff with Jericho for a little while. He and CM Punk was killing it over on SmackDown. There was a lot of cool stuff going on SmackDown at that point in time that a lot of people don't really remember because don't really talk about as much because WWE was treating Raw like the AShow, as they always have been. I don't think the Fox move will do much to change that. I know Fox is a bigger network than any other network they've ever been on before. I realize that. But Raw has been around a lot longer. It will forever be Vince McMahon's baby. I don't care what anyone says. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when they move to Fridays. It should be a great show. Don't get me wrong. They are currently advertising, like I said earlier, Kofi and Brock, the 4 Horsewomen tag team match. They're advertising Hulk Hogan's going to be there, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Goldberg, Trish, you name them. They'll be there. Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon ladder match. It's going to be a big show. But how long will that last? I'm glad they're doing the draft. I'm glad they're doing, the roster separation again. I think that's awesome. I think that's tremendous. Then again, how long will it be before SmackDown once again becomes the redheaded, ugly stepchild of Raw? We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope this is a turning point for SmackDown where it can become a viable... it really is a viable alternative to Raw, and it has been for years now. But I'm talking about how WWE portrays the show and presents the show. How do they treat it going forward? Will it be on the same level as Raw? Will it be treated with more respect and star power and attention, long term, not just for the next month? I'm talking going forward. I just don't see that happening. It's the same old story I've heard so many times before. After 2005, when they put Batista on SmackDown and, they had the brand split. In 2002, they said the same thing. 2005, they were saying that. In 2008, they were saying it. In 2010, when they moved to Sci-Fi. In the draft in 2016. And all these other points. Oh, SmackDown's going to be big. It's going to be big. We're moving to USA. It's going to be big. It's going to do this. It's going to be that. And it never fucking changes. So again, I really hope I'm wrong, and I really hope SmackDown can become a real equal show to Raw. Coming out of the Fox move, I'm just not holding my breath because I feel like if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. I know Fox is a bigger network, like I said before. I don't think that'll do much to change Vince McMahon's perception of the blue brand. It'll forever be the sister, whatever, the one notch just below. Maybe not quality-wise, but in terms of how they present it, right below Raw. No matter what, I just think that will forever be the case. And no matter how much better SmackDown gets than Raw, Raw will always be their number one. It will always be their top priority, regardless of what happens.